What's up, guys? How are you? It's Daniel R. Man, this is the second time this happened to me. 1 second. So, this is the second time that a friend of a friend of mine tried to have me worship a statue. The first time it happened, it was crazy. I was driving him. I was driving him home from work. Well, I picked him up from work first in his car, and I went with him to driving him around. Yeah, I know my license is suspended, but it happened. So I was driving him around, running errands, and he kept telling me about, oh, I have to go pick up some flowers. I have to go drop it off on my saint. I didn't know what he was talking about at first, and then he said, I'm like, which saint? And he was like, oh shit, sorry, I was doing that. Nah, I don't. None of this. You'll never catch me doing this. You'll never catch me doing this. You'll never catch me doing this. You'll never catch me. Yeah, so I apologize for that. Anyways, we went to pick up flowers, and I said, look, my hands are in my pocket now. I said, St. Jude. And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, hold up, Judas Iscariot? The one that betrayed Jesus? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, and then he starts like explaining to me in the car, and he was kind of drunk. So, you know, he kind of started shifting from like, I don't know, man. It was weird. But basically, he was like, I go over there to St. Jude, and I haven't brought him flowers in a long time, and I have to bring him flowers, and you know so everything will be okay. But it seems like he does this on a regular basis. But it's just I happen to be with him to drive him to go do it. So he was telling me how it works. He was basically telling me like, oh yeah, everybody looks at Judas as the one that betrayed Jesus, but he was the first one that actually followed Jesus. So he was like kind of like backing him up and stuff like that. And then he starts telling me things like, oh, uh, you know, I want you to meet him. 'Cause imagine like a kind of drunk guy, like, oh, I want you to meet him, and you're gonna come with me, And I'm like, nope, it ain't happening, bro. And he's like, what do you mean? I'm like, bro, I can't do that. And then he's like, what do you mean you can't do that? And I was like, dog, I'm like, I can't do that. I'm not gonna go with you to that's worshiping another god. I can't do that. And he was like, come on, and like just imagine. And he's like, come on, this is just like, and then I was like, and then later on, throughout the conversation, he mentions like, oh, Jude, likes it when, you bring more people to see him. In my head, I'm thinking, bro, that's the devil. Like, he has no idea. But anyways, long story short, so I drove him, I exited the freeway, and I go into the church. It's like a Catholic church, and I park on the side. It was like late at night. And he's like, okay, let's go. And I'm like, no, I'm not going. What do you? He's like, come on, let's go. And I'm like, no, bro, don't get mad, no disrespect, but I'm not gonna do it. But I can see you. You can go and do it. So he gets out, he goes, and there's like a statue. And he puts the flower on the foot, and then he goes on his knees, and he starts looking at the statue in the face, and he starts talking like he's talking to like a god. And like it looked like for a second he was in trouble. The way he was talking. maybe, and I was like, damn, I'm like, it's probably mad at him that he didn't convince me to go. So, and then he goes up and he goes on the statue and he kisses the cheek on the statue and he kisses the feet and then he puts the flowers and the thing on his hand and he comes back in the car and I'm just like, you feel good? He's like, yeah. I was like, wow, wow, like this is like worshiping false gods and like statues at its finest, like unbelievable. It's crazy. So and then the second time he tried to have me do that again today, I was like, bro. There's always when he's like intoxicated. So that's the story. So if you think worshiping false gods they ain't happening today, you guys are sadly mistaken, my friends. So that's a quick little, you know, just put your foot down. Don't worship no other god, especially like that. No is no, and you know it gives you more of a chance to preach the gospel, and which I did. So I hope that's I don't know. That's just a little story, true story recently. I hope you guys are good. I love you guys. God bless. Okay.